Okay, I think I'm recording. Hey guys, Kevin here, Freelance Computing. So I was asked to run a quick video tutorial on how to do pretty much a data backup from a hard drive from an old computer, and pretty much learn how to extract the data, excuse me, and that sort of thing. So it's a friend of mine who I haven't spoke to in a while. I won't mention the name, only to prevent any type of docking and stuff online. But anyways, besides the point. So this is the first time I'm actually using this screen capture through NVIDIA Shadowplay, I think is the name of the application. So I tried to use the built-in overlay that they had in the program, but it doesn't seem to be working. So I'm just using the default Windows one. So whatever, so you can see my face, you can see my screen, and that sort of thing. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So she basically has an older computer. There goes Maverick. Go ahead, bud. No one wants to see your butt. Hey, Maverick, hey. Anyways, all right, sorry. Anyways, okay, so basically you'll have a typical hard drive like this. I looked up the model of her computer, and it's pretty old, but it still uses what's called a SATA connection. So you can see here you have the smaller one, which is for data, and then the larger one for power. So what I said was that you need something called a either a SATA to USB, so you can actually hook up your hard drive as an external drive, pretty much. So that's pretty much the easiest way to extract the data. There are other ways around it. This way is pretty much the easiest way. Basically, you pull the hard drive out of the computer, plug it as an external, and then it shows up, which I'll show you guys on my screen. Or what you could do is get something like this. It's kind of like a hard drive caddy. This one has two slots that you could use. You don't have to get a double one. This one actually has an added feature where you could actually clone drives. So I actually use this when people are upgrading to like a solid state hard drive or something. So you could put the original in slot A, put the target one on slot B, and then you hit a combination button, and then it'll start cloning. But it still uses the USB in the back. This one is USB Type C. You'll see ones like that, or USB 3.0. The newer ones will have either or, but as long as the other side of it just has like a standard USB connection, you can plug it right into your computer and it'll show up as a secondary hard drive. So this would probably be the easiest way to do it. So you have power, you have the USB back here. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug it in here. And I'll show you what you guys are talking about. So this hard drive here is just an older one that I had. I honestly have no idea what's on it, but just for using as an example. So what you can do is just go ahead and open up your File Explorer here. And then you will, once you plug it in and turn it on, you should see pretty much the drive show up here. Let's give it a little bit. Okay, so if you can see, there goes Weirdo. So you can see here where now you have a couple of extra drives. Just keep in mind which ones are yours if you have multiple drives and which one is that one. So drive G, they usually do it by alphabetical order. So the latest one, so drive G would be pretty much the drive here. So what you want to do is from there you want to go into your users folder. When you go into here, you'll see a whole bunch of listed users. Some of them are default. It might say default, it might say owner, blah, 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 whatever you set your computer as. The easiest way is to check by the date modified, usually. That will give you a good idea of which one is yours. But usually it's owner, or it's probably your name, whatever it is. That's probably going to be the one that you want to use for your data extraction. So when you double click on owner, sometimes what will happen is that it'll give you a warning saying that you don't have permissions to view the folder, but you could actually receive the permissions. So all you have to do is just click on yes, and then the drive will pretty much run a little bit, and Windows is reassigning its permissions to that specific folder. Even if you have a password, or even if you don't have a password set up for it, it'll still give you that warning, only because you're pulling it from a different computer and putting it on the one that you're using. So just go ahead and just double click that, and then when it does that, it'll show you all your subfolders here. Now, normally what I usually do when I do data backups is I'll back up the main folders like desktop, documents, downloads, favorites, music, pictures, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. From here, what you can actually do is you could go into each folder and you could just view through what files that you want to keep and which ones you don't. You don't have to copy everything. If it's something that you don't find important, you don't really have to copy it over. Just me, when I do data backups, I tend to copy everything just in case if they're missing anything. But if you are doing this for yourself, you can always go back to the hard drive and pretty much pull the data if you feel like you needed it at that point or some point later. You can always go back and get it, but just to be safe. But at the same time, though, you also have to keep in mind how much space you have on your computer. So say, for example, if one of the folders you had a bunch of music, for example, or a bunch of videos that you've created or downloaded, it could take up a good amount of space. So what you can do as a preventive measure, you could actually right-click on the folder itself, and then if you go to Properties, it'll give you the size of the folder itself. So that one is pretty small, doesn't really have much of anything. Let's try downloads, I guess. So that one has a good amount, 1.4 gigs. Normally, you could pretty much get away with, okay, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, so here's a good example. That just keeps going up. Anyways, so you want to keep in mind of how much data you're copying, and also keep in mind of where you're going to be dumping the data. If you're dumping it locally on your computer, make sure you have enough free space. If you have an external hard drive, also make sure that that has enough free space. Flash drives, even, all the same. Just keep in mind of how much data is actually on the drive itself, and then just make sure that the media that you are copying it to has enough space for you to actually download it. Now, we are probably way past the point of burning data onto CDs and stuff, or even like DVDs, because DVDs can only hold 4.7, dual layers only hold about 8 gigs of data. So your best bet is flash drives, external hard drive. That'll be your best way to go. Anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much straightforward. And then after, when you're done, just go ahead and shut off the enclosure, and then your hard drive will just disappear itself. That's perfectly normal. Don't worry about it, just because Windows can't detect it anymore. And then, after that, you should have all the data that you need, all your data, actually, and that's pretty much straightforward. So, I hope this tutorial helped out a lot. I hope everyone is staying safe, and just staying healthy amongst this whole COVID-19 thing. Unfortunately, my store wasn't able to stay open because we weren't considered essential. But I am still trying to do as much as I can, either remote support, appointments, drop off and pickups, those sort of things, and obviously, just making sure that my health is also not at risk at the same time. So once again, Kevin here, Freelance Computing. I hope everyone is doing well, everyone's doing safe, and so until next time, take care, guys. Bye.